we'll have to discuss it. Polycranus, big old Poly K. Oof. Yikes. Yowzas. I don't know what I'm talking about, actually. This is pretty easy, right? Do some of that. A little bit of this. This to there. The reason... What's up, everybody? My name's Chance, and today we're taking a look at a Naya Brash Taunter deck. And I know a lot of people have tried Gruul or maybe Boros with this card. And I know me personally, whenever it first came out, I was thinking, oh yeah, Stormwild Capridor is going right into that Gideon's Capridor deck. It's going to be beautiful. For those of you who don't know what this magical little goblin does, we're going to take a look at him real quick. So for 5 mana, you get down this incredibly strong 1/1 indestructible goblin. Yeah, obviously that's a joke, but the cool thing is the ability. Whenever Brash Taunter is dealt damage, any kind of damage, it deals that much damage to target opponent. For 3 mana, you can tap it, and Brash Taunter fights another target creature. So the really cool thing about this card is it works well with the Stormwild Capridor, which I've been begging for some more creatures that go along with Stormwild. You know, you have the True Fire Captain, and Haktos is kind of okay in there, but I really wanted something like Brash Taunter, and this literally fits so perfectly with Stormwild. So Stormwild reads, you know, it's if non-combat damage would be dealt to Stormwild Capridor, prevent that damage, put a +1/+1 counter on Stormwild Capridor for each 1 damage prevented this way. So you say, Chance, what are you going to be doing with the deck? We're going to be using Storm's Wrath to deal 4 damage to our Brash Taunter, to our Stormwild, to the opponent's creatures and planeswalkers. And then because 4 damage is being dealt to Brash Taunter, 4 damage is going to go to the opponent's face. And because 4 damage is being dealt to the Stormwild Capridor, 4 counters are going to be put on the Stormwild Capridor. So it's just a really cool combination of cards where you can use things like Storm's Wrath, like Justice Strike, like Perforos's Intervention, and really end up dealing a crap ton of damage. Now that's nice for the Boros side of it, but why did I decide to go green? Well, one, it's safer for the planet. No. Brash Taunter, if you get to looking at it, it's a tiny little 1/1, which means if somebody has trample on their creature, it's still only going to deal the 1 damage to Brash Taunter, because after that damage, the rest of the damage is going to your face. And seeing as how there's a whole lot of tramplers in the game, and honestly people won't be swinging in against your Brash Taunter without trample because obvious reasons, right? It's going to deal damage back to their face. You kind of need some way to make Brash Taunter more of a threat, in my opinion, right? To where it can actually stop those tramplers, or even better, kill them. So, in the Naya color schemes, we have the access to green mana. What does green mana bring for Brash Taunter? It brings Primal Might, right? Target creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, or target creature you control, sorry. Then it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So you spend 3 mana here, your Brash Taunter goes up to a 3/3, it fights a target creature that your opponent controls, which, you know, probably has 3 power, 4 power, something like that. So it deals 4 damage to Brash Taunter, which deals 4 damage to your opponent's face, and it gets rid of that creature. And because this has indestructible, now you swing in, and so all together you've dealt 7 damage for 3 mana on a Primal Might, which is crazy, you know, assuming you have the 5 mana with which you played the Brash Taunter. If you spend 5 mana here, you know, 4, and all that good stuff. So Primal Might is awesome. It's a new card. It's going to be rotation proof. It works wonderfully with Brash Taunter, in my personal, professional opinion. Now, the downside to Brash Taunter is the fact that it can still get exiled, it can still get bounced, it can still get targeted by other spells. So Heroic Intervention is here to help that, and your Stormwild Capridor doesn't actually have indestructible, so Heroic Intervention really helps keep your your Capridor alive whenever your opponent goes to board wipe as well, right? Another new card that I'd like to touch on is Heartfire Immolator. So for 2 mana, you get down this 2/2 Prowess creature, and Prowess, the way it works is whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. For 1 mana, you can sacrifice Heartfire Immolator. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker. So the idea here is you cast a whole bunch of non-creature spells, you know, Dominion's Ambush, Justice Strike, whatever you're casting normally. This card gets up to a 3/3 or a 4/4. You may swing in with it, deal that 4 damage, and then you sacrifice it, and you know, put those counters on Stormwild. So now next turn, you know, next go around, the Stormwild is a lot bigger and can deal more damage. Or if you're looking for that final killing blow, Heartfire Immolator onto the Brash Taunter, you deal 4 damage here, and then 4 damage goes to your opponent, right? Outside of that, we have Wolf Willow Haven that allows us to ramp. We have Gift of Paradise, which allows us to ramp and keeps us healthy. Given we don't have a whole lot of creatures down in the bottom end, we're pretty much relying on the Stormwild and the Brash Taunter once we get them down, right? Domri Anarch of Bolas, 1, gonna help us ramp, 2, gonna make all of our creatures a little bit stronger, 3, gonna allow us to fight with our Brash Taunter without having to tap it, right? Which is really, really crucial. Just Strike is great just based off the premise of the deck, and I think that pretty much does. Yeah, it pretty much does it all. Make sure, I mean, Purple Rose's intervention is pretty obvious. You're going to be dealing twice X damage to target creature or planeswalker, so you're just trying to deal as much damage as you can to your Brash Taunter and your Stormwild, right? Outside of that, I think it's all pretty much covered. Thanks everybody for watching the intro. If you enjoyed, please be sure to watch all the way through the video, get the pro tips, get the deck tech wrap up at the end where we go through, talk about these 14, 15 cards that you can swap out into your deck and, you know, have a better time, have a more competitive time. Even though this deck, I gotta say, it outperformed what I thought it would, and it honestly smashed some fucking faces. It was beautiful. Anyways, without further ado, I'll let you see for yourself. On into the matches. Juan Rojas. Rojas? Look, I'm sorry if I butcher any of y'all's names. We'll keep it. We have the gift. We have the wolf. We can get there. We can get there. Yeah, I don't know, Mac. I may be severely confused. But I'm fairly sure that's what I wanted to do. Block with the Stormwild. Use that to keep the Stormwild alive. Because he wasn't targeting Stormwild with the actual Terror of the Peaks damage, he was targeting my face. Seems good enough. Y'all think they play counter spells? No way, right? No way an Izzet deck plays counter spells. Well, now the question is, sure, whatever. Now the question is, how many counter spells do you play? Aha. No way, bro, they countered you. Such a huge surprise. But you also can't not play it. You know, you can't just live in fear of the counter magic. That's not me. What do y'all think? Another counter? Another counter. Oh no! Hey! Y'all done fucked up one. I'm about to Primal Might ya, right? Or am I gonna Storm's Wrath ya? Let's go for the Storm's Wrath. It sounds like more fun. Okay. Whatever. I didn't really want to do that anyways. Haha, tricked ya. see that counter magic. No? Beautiful. There. I gotta say, we're putting a little bit of a beating on them, huh? Buffalo is, yeah, during your turn. We can still kill their little Zabo, though. I guess that's one way to do it. You just save me the trouble. The nice thing about this deck is we just use Brash Taunter as like removal. This does say when it dies, right? Yeah? Alright, as long as you know what you're doing. I don't understand people. Yeah, you know, I don't really either. Still want to see that Jund audience deck. I know. Trust me, I know. But that's one of those decks I like to reveal as soon as I'm going to play it. Because I feel like I may end up feeling bad for wanting to play it, but I don't want to feel bad for wanting to play it. We might have the game here. The only thing they can do is counter my Justice Strike to save themselves. Beautiful. B-E-A-U-T-ful. Bunska. Hope I'm saying that right. And man, what a hand. Temple of Abandon and Fabled Passage. I'm gonna take a mulligan. Magic hasn't exactly been giving me the cards I wanted tonight. We don't have the white mana for Capridor, but I'm sure we can get there. I want the Heartfire Immolator, don't get me wrong, but the idea of Brash Taunter Primal Might is really fun. Good old Wolf Willow Haven, gonna allow us to ramp a little bit. Alright, looking for planes. Nope. Opponent's playing some kind of teamer deck. Some kind of teamer ramp deck. Well, that is our Stormwild Capridor. However, it's also our Brash Taunter. Fear me. That's right, baby. Brash Taunter. You better be scared, Bunska. Ooh, Wilderness Reclamation. I'm shaking in my boots. Counter it. Do it. Oh, fuck. I should have played this, right? Oh, it lands. Alright, are you ready, Bunska? Are you ready for the Brash Taunter beatdown? Hey-ya! Nice. Sounds like a lovely little combo, Mac, not gonna lie. If I make him fight this creature, will that work? I have to tap him. Let's try it. Like, what? Let's try it. Oh, it does work. So I can like, nice, thank you. I can like use my Brash Taunter with Primal Might. Oh no, it has to be a creature you don't control. Damn it, Primal Might. You're fucking rare and you can't even target a creature I do control. What kind of rare are you? What kind of rare are you? Wilderness for days and days. This is target creature you don't control as well. Domri's Ambush, y'all. Y'all are making me so mad. I guess we could add Brash Taunter fight Stormwild. That's it. That's it. Oops. Oops-a daisies. I like the idea though that Brash Taunter can continue to build the Stormwild. Really love that. They also can't actually Storm's Wrath me. Now that's a whole lot of wilderness reclamation, so like if they have expansion explosion, no? Okay. I was gonna say it'd be over for us, but if they don't have it, then I guess it might be over for them. I'm doing what, 6 damage here? Why are you saying good game? Unless, do they have it? Do they have the expansion explosion? Genesis. Oh yeah, they do. Alright, well. It was fun. Kinda. Until, you know, the whole point where Wilderness Reclamation actually started doing its job. Ambush. What is with these opening hands? Can I get some normal lands? Hey, Magic. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. I can go shuffle a deck right now and have better fucking turnouts than this. It's a shame I gotta go down to handicapping 2 cards off myself just to play a game. It's okay. 2 years from now, they'll finally listen, and they'll unrig the shuffler. They'll say, you know what, this best of 1 shit's gotta go! And the crowd will go wild. Math will once again be reinstated into this lawless land of shenanigans. Probability will reign free. People will be able to actually predict with a certain certainty the effectiveness of their decks. Oh man, give me that red mana. I need it for my Storm's Wrath, which I'm not using this turn. We're so close to that Brash Taunter, Storm's Wrath, Stormwild, Capridor combo. I'm excited, I gotta say. In case it wasn't clear in my enunciation of the words. Clothius. You goon. You absolute goon. That's fine. Anything you can do to me, I can do better. Blah, 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 blah. Something, something. Cheddar. Alright, some kind of Jund deck. Is it like Gadrick? If it's Gadrick, I can respect that. If it's anything but Gadrick, we'll have to discuss it. Polucranus. Big old Poly K. Oof. Yikes. Yowzas. I don't know what I'm talking about actually. This is pretty easy, right? Do some of that. A little bit of this. This to there. The reason you pump up your Brash Taunter instead of your Stormwild is because now if we use our Brash Taunter to attack this. Good game, man, Bush. Good game. You just lost to the Jank Pile City. Druid Dan, like Druid Dan, like Dan the Druid. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, what? This is the 3rd game in a row where I've only gotten 2 lands in my starter hand. And you know the sad thing about it, since this is best of 1, that means that this is the most land that I've gotten in the past 3 games. I don't even understand that. Give me a ramp or give me death. That's what the English said when they were tossing the tea over the ships way back in the heyday, right? They said, we'll stand for this no more. 1, 2, 3. This puts us up to 4. What's up with all these goddamn teamer decks? Oh, Terror of the Peaks. You're gonna love this one, buddy. You're gonna love it. Let me let you in on a little secret. Let me tell you something real quick. My friend, my pal, my dear old enemy. Ooh, yes. Love the idea of Mythos of Aluna into a Terror of the Peaks deck. That is just wonderful. Wonderful. Look at this absolute raw damage, just popping it off. That's disgusting. That's actually disgusting. I like your deck, good sir or madam. It's unfortunate that I had to ruin it slightly. I'm sure you'll figure something out. You know, no way that you're just top decking for the rest of the game while I slowly but surely kill all your stuff, right? Surely not. Look at that. We have 2 Brash Taunters, 2 Stormwilds. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Absolutely loving it. By the way, how much damage can we deal with Perforos's intervention? We might be able to just win, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. I mean, that sounds like lethal, doesn't it? Of course, I guess we could have just dealt that to Brash Taunter and swung in with Stormwild as well. Who knows? We're doing some good work though with this deck. Alrighty, you made it all the way through the matches. First and foremost, thank you for watching all the way through. I know this was a very exciting and very awesome deck, given, well, it's based off of one of the most interesting cards to come out of M21. That's right, Brash Taunter. The 1/1 indestructible 5-mana goblin. What a card, what a card. Now, there are a ton of routes you can take Brash Taunter. You can go Gruul, you can go Boros, you could probably go Izzet. You know, I have it going Naya here. You might go Grixis. There's a ton of options, right? So when I'm going through this deck tech wrap up, just remember that this is the options for this Naya deck, you know, and there are a ton of other options, a ton of other routes you can do with this card. All that being said, if you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like down below. Comment in the comment section if you have any suggestions on this deck, future deck, or you know, past decks, whatever. If you're new here, consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon that pops out after you subscribe. That way you can actually get notifications whenever I post videos, because that's what YouTube wants to see, is for you to click that bell. So click it. Show them you know how to work their website. If you're looking to catch us play these decks live, hop over to twitch.tv/Dr. toss a follow. I'm live at various times on various days, and that's the best I can really give you as far as a schedule. And then last but not least, if you're looking for a Discord community to join up with, down in the description of every video, I highly recommend you jump down there and click on some of those links. You know, you'll figure some stuff out down there. Anyways, on to the deck tech wrap up. First and foremost, we have Gideon's Sacrifice, and I know some people were probably screaming at me for not playing it in the main deck, but you know, we don't exactly, in this version of the deck at least, play enough creatures, I feel, to warrant a Gideon's Sacrifice where we're dealing, you know, Storm's Wrath damage to at least 4 creatures and then retargeting all that back to Brash Taunter. I think there is a Naya deck or even a Boros deck that could potentially be built out of this. It just simply wasn't this one, but it is an instant common speed spell, so you know, it's really awesome. It's really cheap if you want to try it out. Not much of a drawback. Next up, we have one that a lot of people probably wouldn't think about. Red Cap Melee. It's 1 mana for instant speed, deal 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker, which it can be your own. If a non-red permanent is dealt damage this way, you sacrifice a land. Well, Brash Taunter is red, so you don't have to worry about that too much. And if you're going up against those pesky mono-red aggro decks, well, this deals with everything all the way up to Tor Brand, right? So 1 mana, really good card, allows you to deal 4 damage to the opponent's face as well, and won't make you sacrifice the land, right? If Primal Might is a little too expensive, there's always things like Prey Upon, right? Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control, 1 mana. It is only sorcery speed, but it's a common, so it's very, very, very cheap. Same thing with Go for Blood, you know, it's common, target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. The added benefit here is the fact that you can cycle it. And then one more of these fight commands, because I know that people will suggest this one, as it is pretty good for Brash Taunter. So 3 mana, target creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. It fights target creature you don't control. Again, you have the Brash Taunter fight a creature you don't control, and then it also has a 3 damage. It's all in all pretty good. Then you have Warbuyer's Blessing. If you want it to stay a little bit bigger, you can go for something like an enchantment route, which honestly may not be bad, you know, if I'm just being honest. Spore Web Weaver. Cool thing about this is you can have your Brash Taunter fight it over and over and over again and create more green saplings and gain more life. And if you're going to do the Gideon Sacrifice, this is actually a really good route because, again, you're creating all of these tokens that you can then deal damage to. So when you use Gideon's Sacrifice and redirect all the damage dealt to all your creatures to 1 creature, it's going to be that much more. So Spore Web really goes in, well, very nicely with the Gideon Sacrifice. Next up, we have Deafening Clarion. It's good, you know. My 3 drops were just kind of full. We've played it a million times with Stormwild. I was looking for some other added bit of spice, but yes, it is still very good. Yes, it is still very fun. Same thing with True Fire Captain, right? True Fire Captain is awesome. It's great, but in order for us to get there, I feel like I would have had to focus a little less on Brash Taunter, right? And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be all in on the Brash Taunter. So yes, again, True Fire does work. It is a little difficult if you're going into 3 mana colors in general. 3 mana. 3 colors of mana in general, right? Because, well, you need 2 specific ones here, and there's no telling that green is going to help you out. Granted, you know, Gift of Paradise does, and Domri would. Something like a Wolf Willow wouldn't really help you at all. Next up, we have Chandra Awakened Inferno. Deals 3 damage to each non-elemental creature. Well, Goblin, Bird Goat. So, you know, get to clear the board, deal damage to your creatures, deal damage to the opponents. The spell can't be countered, which is nice. You can give your opponent emblems. You can do the -X thing and exile your opponent's creatures or planeswalkers. It's all around a very, very solid card. But it is going to be rotating, and it is a mythic. So if you don't have it, don't worry about it. It's not worth it. I mean, I guess that's for you to decide, but for this one deck, I don't think it's worth it. Chandra's Incinerator, 6 mana for 6/6 with Trample that reads this spell costs X less, where X is the total amount of non-combat damage dealt to your opponents this turn. Well, you have the Brash Taunter, so that alone can be some non-combat damage, right? Not to mention if you end up going for shocks and that kind of stuff over the Perforos's Intervention. Whatever, you can get down to 6/6, and then whenever you deal non-combat damage to an opponent, this is going to deal that much damage to a creature or planeswalker, so it could really, really help out with removal of your opponent's board state. But all in all, I just couldn't find a place for it. Same thing with this one, Fiery Emancipation. If a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals triple that damage to that permanent or player instead. Now, this is really interesting, and I think that this, with a Brash Taunter in the right deck, is awesome. Because if you really get to thinking about this, right? If you have this down and you have your Brash Taunter down and you use Primal Might for, well, let's just say 5 mana because you have Fire Emancipation down, right? So you at least have 6 mana, which means, you know, 1 to cast Primal and then 5 for the eggs. So you're putting your Brash Taunter up to a 6/6 and you're attacking something. Now whatever, you know, power that creature has, 4 or 5 or whatever, it's going to deal that to your Brash Taunter, and when your Brash Taunter goes to deal damage to your opponent's face, it's going to deal 3 times 4 or 5 or whatever the opponent's power was, right? So 12 to 15 damage, and you're going to swing in with your Brash Taunter that already has, you know, 6 power and all that good stuff, and you're going to deal 18 more damage, which is literally lethal so quickly, so high, right, in extra damage. So I do think there is a Fire Emancipation Brash Taunter deck just waiting to be built. But again, I like to stick to the theme, stick to what I'm trying to do when I'm trying to do it. And Fire Emancipation, it's just a little too costly, and I feel like it changes the direction of the deck a little too much for me to have added it in. Next up, we have Dracuseth. I mean, if you're going to be going for things like Fire Emancipation, Big Red, that kind of stuff, I kind of recommend you go for Ironcrag Feet, which allows you to get down Dracuseth, you know, on turn 4, which is fucking bonkers. So when Dracuseth attacks, it deals 4 damage to any target, 3 damage to each of up to 2 other targets. Obviously, you can select your own Brash Taunter. That's good, not to mention the fact that it's a 7/7 that deals, you know, like 10 points of damage with its little shooty things. Excuse me, had to yawn. Anyway, so that's Dracuseth. Sundering Stroke, 7 mana for a sorcery. Sundering Stroke deals 7 damage divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 targets. If at least 7 red mana was spent to cast this spell, it deals 7 damage to each of those permanents and or players. Again, if you're using, you know, Ironcrag Feet, this is awesome. Dealing 7 damage to your Brash Taunter is 7 damage to the opponent's face. Dealing 7 damage to Stormwild is 7 +1/+1 counters, which puts it at a 8/10, which is crazy. So there's a literal ton of options for this deck, and I hope you all enjoyed watching it. I really enjoyed playing it and enjoyed making this deck tech wrap up because there were so many options that I was like, oh, I'm gonna run out of room, but we managed all right. So once again, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new here. As always, I'll see y'all either later tonight or tomorrow. Peace.